I was in office during a time where we went through great hardship. We had the COVID pandemic, we had a domestic terror attack against our Muslim population by a white supremacist that took the lives of 51 people. We had a volcanic eruption, we had natural disasters. And I think through all of that, our job as politicians has to be to address the crisis that's in front of you, and that means taking action as well. It's not just about expressing empathy. Empathy is nothing without action and trying to resolve or prevent those things from happening again.
Do you see empathy as a political force?
I think empathy in politics, it's been excluded because we think that the public will only support us if they have confidence in us. And we think that confidence and strength naturally exclude ideas like kindness and empathy, and I disagree with that. My view is that one of the reasons people are drifting away from believing in politics is because we haven't been responsive enough and because it has been so riddled with conflict.
You were Prime Minister of New Zealand from 2017 to 2023, and you're publishing a book called A Different Kind of Power. Do you think you've exercised power differently?
When I look around the world now, it's really clear that, a handful of different styles of leadership on display, but one that is dominating at the moment is a kind of power that chooses to weaponize, I think, fear and blame rather than seek for the solutions. So I wasn't a perfect leader, a perfect politician, but I do think I used a different style of leadership. I was the second woman in the world to have a baby in office. The first was Benazir Bhutto in Pakistan. But what I felt the pressure of was to demonstrate that you could still be an effective leader and also be a mother. In many ways tried to find ways to do both as successfully as I could, and I didn't always feel I succeeded. So I think the book is a little bit about the struggles of just trying to be a good parent as well.
Then you brought your baby to the United Nations General Assembly. What message did you want to get across?
I was, probably the first person that had their child at the United Nations General Assembly, but that was a practical decision. She was only 4 months old, and so I couldn't leave her behind. And when she was photographed while we were there, I remember worrying that people would think that here was an image of women doing everything, when I rather would have liked people to see that I was a woman that had a village.
And so today I'm announcing that I will not be seeking re-election. I am leaving because with such a privileged role comes responsibility. The responsibility to know when you are the right person to lead and also when you are not.
On January 19, 2023, you announced your resignation after 5 years in office, explaining that you were exhausted and had chosen family life. You said, "I gave everything to be Prime Minister, but it also cost me a lot." What did this mandate cost you?
I did leave after 5 years. I had to make a decision whether I would run in the next election, and my view was that I could have kept going, but I didn't have enough in reserve for those moments of crisis. I was worried about letting people down. I worried about letting New Zealanders down and my team down. For me, you can be both a parent and a mother, and so that wasn't what caused me to leave. You can do both, but we should always be mindful of whether or not we have exhausted ourselves or whether or not it's time to pass the baton over, whether or not we're still being the leaders we wish to be. I think that's an important consideration. And after a domestic terror attack, a volcanic eruption and a pandemic, it was time for me to hand the baton over.
We are more used in politics to men who accumulate mandates and find it hard to stop it. By being so transparent, you have shaken up the codes of political communication. Was there a purpose of this surprise resignation?
At the time that you make these decisions, particularly when you run a small country of only 5 million people at the bottom of the world, sometimes you don't think about the knock-on effect. You don't think about the fact that people might be watching or might take a message from your decision-making. It was only after I left that I realised even the act of leaving sent a message for some. I think the message I want to share now, though, is that there are good people in politics around the world.
I do hope I've demonstrated something else entirely, that you can be anxious, sensitive, kind, and wear your heart on your sleeve. You can be a mother or not. You can be an ex-Mormon or not. You can be a nerd, a crier, a hugger. You can be all of these things. And not only can you be here, you can lead just like me.
You have a confidence gap and it might hold you back from doing things. And I think a lot of people suffer from it at various times. I know I certainly did. And as I say, I was thin-skinned, I worried a lot, I was sensitive. None of that should exclude you from leadership. In fact, if you're empathetic, if you tend to over-prepare, if you seek the advice of others, if you have humility, you are exactly who we need in leadership.